What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the first of a series of videos I've dreamed of making for quite a while now. It's called Greatest Driving Roads in the World, and today you join me in my home country, Romania, where there's quite a lot of great driving roads. In today's video, however, we're focusing on the road that was made famous by the three blokes from Top Gear a few years ago when they visited Romania. It's that piece of tarmac that made Jeremy Clarkson yell with excitement that this is the best driving road in the world. This is it. It's called the Transfagarasan Highway. It was built between 1970 and 1974, and laying down the asphalt took another 4 years. This bit that you see here, which is only 7 kilometers long, is the most famous in the world. And it's pretty obvious why. I mean, just look at it. The entire Transfagarasan road, however, is actually about 90 kilometers long. It starts somewhere in the Argeș County and it goes through the Făgăraș Mountains and all the way to Sibiu County. And if these views alone aren't enough to make you go wow, here's some numbers for you. 3 million tons of rock had to be dislodged to build this road. 6,500 tons of TNT were used, and the highest point of the road is 2,000 meters and it's located here near the Bâlea Lake. 40 lives were lost during the building process, although there's multiple sources saying the number was higher than that. You can only drive on this bit of the road from the 30th of June until the very beginning of November, because outside of that period the road is completely covered in snow. I'm now at the bottom of the mountain and I'm ready to launch the car up this fantastic piece of road. BMW M2 competition, meet the fabulous Transfagarasan Highway. The main reason why I love this road so much, beside the fantastic views it offers, and obviously because it's fun to drive, is because you don't really need a 400 horsepower car to have stupid amounts of fun up this hill. I've literally used full throttle for 15 seconds up this road. The straights are not that long, and before you know it, you're met with a hairpin. You can have just as much fun as I am today in a 320D. Trust me on that one. Or you could try it for yourself. And talking about different cars to take up this hill, to be honest, I'd really want to try a Megane RS Trophy R up this hill. I think that car would be fabulous with those all-in dampers and the manual gearbox. Although, as much as I am a fan of manual transmissions, I have to admit that if you're not a very experienced driver, driving a manual car up this hill and tackling these corners would be quite a challenge. Now let's take this series of corners as an example as to how technical the Transfagarasan is. So for example, you're coming out of a chicane over there, down the hill, then you have a short left-hander, then a hairpin, you put it into second gear, try to slide it around a little bit, then you straighten up the car, and then you go full beans up the hill. I'm now in Sport Plus everything, but the traction control is still in MDM mode. In BMW talk, that's traction control halfway off. And I use MDM mode on this road because, well, let's pull over so I can show you why. Now, this might not look like much, right? It's just a hairpin and then you go up the hill. But if you're not careful when you come down and you have too much speed, just look at the drop here. Not sure how far down you can see, but it is a huge drop and it's quite steep. So might as well be extremely careful, especially on your way down. Have a look at this. You have to respect a road like the Transfagarasan, because at the slightest mistake it's gonna bite you back, and it's gonna bite you back hard. Another reason to be extra careful on this road is the fact that the tarmac isn't the best in the world, to be honest, and you can always expect to find after a blind corner some rocks falling from the mountaintop. So you really need to keep your eyes on the road all the time, and you really have to be prepared to stop completely at all times. And on top of that, just look at the amount of fog that's coming up the mountain. Yeah. Have fun on this road, but be very careful. One thing I noticed though is when you're driving this car hard on this road, it leans quite a bit in the bends. And considering how harsh the ride is on regular roads, I wasn't really expecting that up this hill. But that doesn't really change the way this car handles. The grip from these Michelin Pilot Super Sports is fantastic. There's very little understeer and you always feel in control of the car. I love this car so much, and I really do think this is the perfect package to go up this fantastic road. I'd love to tell you something about the big brake kit on the M2 competition, but because we're going uphill, they aren't really used at their full potential. So yeah, the only thing worth mentioning is the fact that after quite some time of high-paced driving, they tend to squeal like a piggy. So here we are, we've reached the top of the mountain, and some people would lead you to believe that this is the end of the Transfagarasan road. But that's not quite true. Climb a bit further and there's a tunnel inside the mountain, and beyond that the Transfagarasan road continues, and believe me, it's just as spectacular as this bit we just came up on. A more scenic road, it flows more, it's got less hairpins, and if you ask me, this is the perfect continuation of the craziness from the other side. First you go up a hill at a fairly high pace, slide the car around here and there, and then you go through the tunnel, put your windows down, open up the sunroof, sunglasses on, and just cruise around and enjoy this spectacular piece of road. And don't forget to stop once in a while in the designated areas to really take in the scenery. It is absolutely fantastic. Now, before we end this video, my friends, I want to give you a couple of tips if you want to fully enjoy the Transfagarasan experience. First off, you really need to show up quite early, 7:30 or 8 at the least, in order to be able to go up the hill at a higher pace without cars and tourists all over the place. Second of all, make sure you check the weather report, because if the weather is bad, don't come up here. It's pointless. You won't be able to see the scenery from up top because of the fog that's going to be created. And last but not least, don't forget this side of the road, the scenic one. It's definitely worth it. That's been it for today's video, my friends. I really hope you've enjoyed it. This is the first video in the best driving road series that I'm trying to create. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you have, and make sure you're subscribed for plenty more videos to come. And until next time, take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you around.